You already know the feeling. The light goes off, and something changes. Not in the room. In you. Your shoulders pull in, your breathing goes shallow. Your eyes, the same eyes that read a menu from across a restaurant, suddenly can't be trusted. And somewhere behind your ribs, an alarm starts ringing that you never gave permission to install. You tell yourself it's nothing. Your body doesn't believe you. Because right now, in this exact second, something ancient is running underneath your skin. A program older than language, older than fire, older than your species' first city. And tonight, you're going to see it, all of it. The wiring, the trigger, the reason your own mind turns your bedroom into a hunting ground the moment the sun goes down. This isn't a ghost story, this is worse. Because ghosts you can dismiss. This, you can't. This is happening inside your skull, right now, whether you believe in monsters or not. Let's start with the one thing nobody tells you. You were built by darkness, not metaphorically, biologically. Go back 300,000 years. Strip away the phone in your pocket, the streetlights, the locks on your door. Put you back on the open savanna, no walls, no roof. Just you, the dark, and things that are faster than you, stronger than you, and hungry. For almost the entire history of your species, night was a kill zone. Predators evolved specifically to hunt at night because night gave them the advantage humans could never overcome. Eyes that gather more light, muscles built for the ambush, silence as a weapon. And humans are almost blind in the dark. Daylight creatures, dropped into a world that switches the rules on them 12 hours a day. So evolution did the only thing it could do. It built you a fear reflex and wired it directly into survival. The humans who felt nothing in the dark, who walked out casually, who slept without watching the tree line, they didn't get to pass on their genes. The predators got them first. The humans who felt terror, who froze, who listened, who imagined shapes and shadows just in case. They lived, they reproduced, and they handed that fear straight down the line to you. You are not afraid of the dark by accident. You are afraid of the dark because every single one of your ancestors who wasn't died before they could stop you from existing. That's the first secret, and it gets darker, because your brain didn't just inherit fear. It inherited a shortcut. A dangerous, brilliant, glitching shortcut called the better safe than sorry principle. Here's how it works. Imagine you're walking through tall grass and you see a shape. It could be a stick. It could be a snake. If you assume it's a stick, and you're wrong, you die. If you assume it's a snake, and you're wrong, you just look a little paranoid for 2 seconds. So evolution made the decision for you permanently. Your brain would rather be wrong 1,000 times than right once too late. That's not weakness. That's the exact mechanism that kept your bloodline alive across ice ages, famines, migrations, and predators that don't even exist anymore. But that mechanism didn't get an update. It's still running the same code from the savanna. Except now you're not in the savanna. You're in a hallway, a parking garage, a basement, and your ancient threat detector doesn't know the difference. This is where it gets personal. Right now, deep in your skull, there's a structure the size of an almond. It's called the amygdala, and its entire job, its only job, is threat detection. The amygdala doesn't wait for facts. It doesn't consult logic. It acts first and explains later, because in the world it was built for, waiting got you killed. In full daylight, your eyes send so much information to your brain that the amygdala barely has to guess. It sees the shape, confirms it, moves on. But cut the light, and everything changes. Your eyes go from your most reliable sense to your least reliable sense in under a second. Suddenly the amygdala isn't getting clean data. It's getting fragments, half shapes, motion with no explanation. And when the amygdala doesn't have enough information, it doesn't default to calm. It defaults to threat every single time. This is why the code on your chair looks like a hunched figure at 2 a.m. This is why the tree branch outside your window looks like fingers. This is why silence itself starts to feel like something is holding its breath, waiting. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. Your brain is doing exactly what it was engineered to do. It's just applying Stone Age rules to a world that no longer has saber-toothed cats in it. Now here's the part that should actually disturb you. That shape your brain builds in the dark. The monster, the figure, the thing at the end of the bed. It's not random. There's a name for it: pareidolia. The tendency of your brain to force meaningful shapes, especially faces, out of ambiguous information. Why faces? Why not shapes in general? Because for your ancestors, missing a face in the dark was catastrophic. A face could mean an enemy. A face could mean a predator staring back. So your visual system developed a hair trigger for facial patterns, so sensitive that it fires even when there's no face there at all. That's why 2 dots and a line on a wall stain look like eyes and a mouth if you stare long enough. That's why the shadows in your closet seem to rearrange themselves into something watching you. Your brain isn't seeing a monster. Your brain is manufacturing one. On purpose. Because somewhere in its ancient code, a false alarm is cheaper than a missed threat. You are quite literally hallucinating for survival. Every night. On command. But it doesn't stop at your eyes. Because once the amygdala decides, even wrongly, that something's out there, it doesn't ask your permission before locking your whole body into a state of war. Your heart rate spikes. Your pupils dilate, trying to pull in every last photon of light. Blood rushes away from your stomach and into your limbs. Because digestion doesn't matter if you're about to run or fight. Your muscles tense, ready to react before you've even consciously registered what is. This is the freeze response. And it's not fear in the way you think of fear. It's your nervous system hijacking your entire body in a fraction of a second, based on nothing but shadow and silence. You've felt this. You know exactly what I'm describing. That moment where you can't move, can't speak, can't even blink, where your body has made a decision before your mind was even consulted. That's not weakness. That's ancient hardware doing its job with terrifying efficiency. Now let's go deeper. Because there's a reason this fear doesn't fade with age the way it should. You'd think that once you understand the science, once you know it's just an almond-shaped structure misfiring, the fear would just switch off. It doesn't. Because the amygdala doesn't speak language. It doesn't read studies. It doesn't care that you, the conscious, logical version of yourself, knows there's no monster in the closet. The amygdala operates below your conscious mind. It responds to patterns, not explanations. You can recite the entire biology of fear out loud, standing in a pitch-black room, and your hands will still shake. Logic doesn't defeat this system. It was never built to be defeated by logic. It was built to override logic, because in a real emergency, thinking takes too long. This is why grown adults, soldiers, doctors, engineers, people who solve differential equations for a living, will still feel their skin crawl walking down a dark basement staircase. It's not irrational. It's pre-rational. It exists in a part of your brain that came online before rational thought even evolved. You are running 2 different minds at once, every single night. One that knows better, one that's older and stronger, and doesn't care what the other one knows. Now, here's where the story turns, because this isn't just about your brain anymore. This is about every culture, every civilization, every scrap of human history you've ever encountered. Every single culture on Earth, separated by oceans, mountains, thousands of years with zero contact, independently invented monsters that come out at night: Wendigo, Jinn, Night Marchers, Boogeyman, Baba Yaga, Kappa, La Llorona, Skinwalkers, different languages, different religions. Same pattern: creatures that hunt in darkness. Creatures that mimic human voices to lure you. Creatures that appear only when you're alone, only when the fire's gone out, only when the group has scattered. That's not coincidence. That's convergent evolution of culture, not just biology. Every society independently encoded the same warning into their mythology because every society faced the same ancient threat: isolation in the dark meant death. The stories weren't just stories. They were survival software, wrapped in narrative so it could be passed down before writing even existed. Scare the children enough, and they stay close to the fire. Stay close to the fire, and they live to have children of their own. You grew up hearing monster stories not because your parents wanted to entertain you. You grew up hearing them because somewhere, deep in cultural memory, humanity never stopped trying to keep you alive the same way it kept every generation before you alive. Through fear, precisely timed, precisely targeted at the dark. Now think about what that means for you specifically. Tonight, when the room goes black and your chest tightens, you are not weak. You are not broken. You are the current, living endpoint of an unbroken chain of humans who survived long enough, who feared correctly enough, to hand their genes and their fear directly to you. Every ancestor who didn't feel that tightening in their chest isn't in your family tree. Only the ones who did. That's not a comforting thought. It's a haunting one. Because it means the fear isn't a flaw in you. It's a fingerprint left by everyone who came before you, pressed permanently into your nervous system. But here's where it gets even more unsettling. Because your brain isn't just reacting to darkness anymore. In the modern world, it's reacting to the absence of information. And that's a much bigger trap than you think. You don't just feel this in a dark room. You feel it when your phone buzzes at 3 a.m. and you don't know who it is. You feel it when a message says, "We need to talk," and gives no details. You feel it in the seconds before test results come back. In the silence after you've said something and the other person hasn't replied yet. In the gap between sending an email to your boss and getting a response. That gap, that silence, that unknown, triggers the exact same ancient machinery as a dark room. Your brain fills every void with the worst-case scenario, because for hundreds of thousands of years, the worst-case scenario was frequently the correct one. You are walking around every day with a threat detection system built for leopards, now applied to inboxes, group chats, and unanswered texts. You're no wonder you feel exhausted. You're not weak for feeling anxious in ambiguity. You're using Stone Age software to process an information age world. And nobody ever told you that the panic in your chest is a 500,000-year-old inheritance, not a personal defect. So what do you do with this? You don't fight the amygdala. You can't out-argue it. It doesn't listen to arguments. But you can do something smarter. You can feed it information, because the one thing that calms the ancient threat detector faster than anything else is data. Turn on a light and the ambiguous shape resolves into a coat rack. The amygdala stands down instantly, because uncertainty, not darkness, was always the real trigger. Check the message and the dread evaporates because the unknown collapses into something known. Good or bad, at least it's known. This is why waiting is always worse than the answer. Your body isn't afraid of bad news. It's afraid of the void where any news could be hiding. Understanding this doesn't make the amygdala disappear. Nothing will. It's not a bug to be patched. It's the operating system underneath everything you are. But understanding it changes your relationship with fear itself. Because now, right now, tonight, when the lights go off and your chest tightens, you'll know exactly what's happening. You'll know it's not weakness. It's not superstition. It's not something wrong with you. It's a 300,000-year-old alarm system, built by predators that no longer exist, protecting a body that no longer needs it the way it used to, but still runs it anyway, faithfully, every single night. Because that's the deal evolution made with your ancestors, and you inherited the contract. You are not haunted by monsters. You are haunted by history, written into flesh instead of paper, passed hand to hand, generation to generation, until it landed in you. And the next time the dark presses in, the next time your skin prickles for no reason you can name, remember this. That feeling isn't your enemy, it's proof. Proof that every single person who came before you, through ice ages, famines, migrations, wars, and endless unlit nights, was careful enough, alert enough, afraid enough to survive. The monster was never really in the room. It was always in you, and now you know exactly why.